Missing women freedom fighters, usage of terms like bacha or balak as opposed to bachi or balika, more male characters than female characters. This is the lack of gender sensitivity in existing school textbooks that has been flagged in a gender audit report by the Delhi State Council of Educational Research and Training. Now, this audit report also states that the language used in texts, exercises and activities of these textbooks are gender biased and they depict dominating presence of men. Now, the report also highlighted that no references concerning transgender people were also identified in textbooks or manuals. Now, why is this issue important? Textbooks are central to the lives of children. They equalize education and in many ways shape the way children look at the world, understand the rights and responsibilities, and process the idea of equality and the problem with entitlements. How important is it to have gender-sensitive textbooks? That is what we will discuss today. Joining me is a panel of esteemed experts. Gauri Sharma, who is a gender expert with the DCPCR. We have Amod K. Kant, who is the former chairman of Delhi Commission for Protection of Child Rights. We also have Shakti Prata Sen, who is Senior Program Director, Room to Read India. And we have Vrinda Sarup, who is former Secretary, Ministry of Education and Government of India. Going across to Gauri Sharma. Ma'am, the audit examined 53 textbooks and curriculum in almost 13 subjects, and it found patriarchal dominance and almost neglected participation of women. Tell us, how can textbooks reinforce the idea of equality in children?
So during this audit, we identified that there were many gaps. We had textbooks that were not audited since many years, 15-year-old textbooks, where it was reinforced that the patriarchal roots of our society that need to change. We thought that women need to be portrayed in a more leadership positions and not as passive roles in our textbooks. Since textbooks actually play such an important role for a child, especially our Delhi government children, government school children who want to learn more. So we decided that we'll be having these recommendations for these students. We've created a toolkit that is now available at the SCRT. Through this toolkit, people can access, teachers can access, and it directly recommends those 13 subjects to bring about that change in their textbook, which we were also able to achieve for many subjects.
Right. Let me go across to Mr. Kant. Mr. Kant, one of the things that I noticed was in the Deshbhakti curriculum, it's the male freedom fighters who dominate the textbook content, and there are hardly any female freedom fighters. How important is it to include representation of women in leadership roles? Because even if you look at the ACER survey, children, like female children, girls, don't seem to have aspirations of leading, of being leaders in future. Why is it so important to have women leaders in our textbooks to inspire our girls?
No, I think it's a very strong gender bias, which we are discussing in a very limited area. Limited area means in a particular kind of books or curriculum, in which it comes out very clearly that we talk about the children in male terms. He becomes far more important than she. And considering that, we try to, many a times, we decide not to use the term he at all.
Okay. Let me go across to Amod Kant. Mr. Kant, I was asking you the importance of having women characters in leadership roles, because if you look at the audit report, in the Deshbhakti curriculum, there are hardly any female freedom fighters. What kind of impact does it have on girl students?
No, I really compliment DCPCR, my former organization, for bringing this entire issue into light, because it really affects the mind. The boys and the girls alike, they read and they are deeply interested. In fact, much more than the boys, the girls are interested in reading now, and their number is going in geometrical proportions, going fast, increasing fast. And when they read in the textbooks that they talk about the males only and they don't talk about the female. It's completely out of proportion. I think some reference was made in the document that as against 35 mentioned the male characters, only 4 is female character. So this is something which has to be changed. It has to be changed consciously. It may not happen by itself. And let me clarify that it is not only in the textbooks, it is not only in a particular areas where this gap appears to be there, this gender bias appears to be there. it is all over.
Right.
I mean,
Vrinda
in the
Sarup, who's a
organization-
former secretary of Minister of Education in Government of India. Ma'am, you've worked as a bureaucrat for so long, and tell us how, some people would say that textbooks, of course, just reflect societal realities, but how important it is to, harness the transformative aspect of textbooks, because textbooks do shape the way children look at the world, of course, technology aside. Ma'am, please unmute yourself.
You're right that textbooks are very, very fundamental to the whole process of education. And it is something which the children read, the families look at, and so on, and the teacher transacts. So to make textbooks gender sensitive was an exercise which I think India entered almost more than 2 decades ago. And so it is very, very disheartening to know that here comes a set of books which have not even looked at the basic factors. And when I say basic, I mean that, first we try to make what are sensitive, gender sensitive books, which is to remove the kind of biases that many of the panelists have been speaking about, and you have also highlighted. These are the first stage of activities you need to do to improve books and make them more girl friendly. But we are at a stage now in most states in the country where we are actually making books which are called gender positive, which are empowering for the girls and send messages which for boys and girls alike is for a just and a fair society.
Right. Shaktiprata Sen.
This is the shift.
Yes, ma'am.
This is the shift.
Yes,
Yeah.
so girl-friendly textbooks, that seems to be the way forward. Shaktiprata Sen, you've worked with children. Tell us, what do girls talk about in schools? How important is it for them to have characters that they relate with? Because one of the findings of the survey is also that there are submissive characters. Female women are represented, in nurturing, caregiving roles, traditional roles, and while men are shown to be far more powerful. What kind of impact does that have on women, on children?
Let's understand that these are young adults who are in their late teens or pre-teens as well, in the teenagers, who are in a male-dominated society, in a system that is very, very patriarchal, but they have also seen people, friends around them who have tried to subvert the system in some way or the other. So they have often, these multiple identities within themselves where they really want to be more aspirational. They really want to see where they can contribute, and not only in the leadership roles that are generally said to be for the male section of the society, and they really want to come up with a more gender neutral existence for themselves. And this tug of war, this tug of war is often visible in what they want to aspire for, which is, in a sense, a little discouraging, because we should have been able to give them options which are more gender inclusive,
right,
which are, about gender, equality and equity. But they often have to step on a stone which is still very, very patriarchal and aspire for something different.
Right.
And this dichotomy, I think, needs to be thought through, and I think such sort of audit actually helps to bring that to the table. Like, what should we be doing about it?
Right. Thank you, Mr. Sen. Thank you, Ms. Sarup. Thank you, Ms. Sharma. And thank you, Mr. Kant, for joining us on this discussion to have gender progressive, gender positive textbooks. And starting with flagging stereotypes could be the first step there. Time for a short break. More news and updates on the other side.